Xiao Yan had once promised to fulfill Yi Xianlan's request, and now he finally began to take action. Making her first public appearance was Cao Ying, famously known as the Enchantress of the Cao family. Continuing from the last chapter, Xiao Yan accidentally discovered the secret to cultivating spiritual power correctly through an ancient bronze fragment he acquired at the alchemist trade fair. After a night of cultivation, his soul's spiritual energy became increasingly abundant. He speculated that at this rate, achieving the 8th-tier alchemist rank was only a matter of time. However, the assessment day for the 5 great families had arrived as scheduled. The next day, under the leadership of Yizhong, Xiao Yan and his group headed to the assessment point located in the inner region of Dan City. Their arrival triggered mocking laughter from some of the attendees, as the Yi family's current status was precarious. If they failed this assessment, they would be expelled from the 5 great families. Should that happen, other powers that had been eyeing them covetously would undoubtedly pounce, hoping to attach themselves to the prestigious Pill Tower and thereby rapidly increase their own influence and reputation. Hearing the surrounding whispers, a trace of bitterness appeared in Yizhong's eyes. The decline of the Yi family had been his greatest blow. He had poured all his efforts into their resurgence and now was pinning all his hopes on Xiao Yan. If they failed this time, the Yi family would truly be finished. At the front of the Great Hall were the seats for the Dan, Cao, Bai, Yi, and Qiu families. Suddenly, Xiao Yan's gaze fixed on a graceful figure in the Dan family's seats. It was the peculiar girl he had met during the test at a branch of Pill Tower. Despite her delicate and timid appearance, her presence in the Dan family's seats suggested she held a significant position. However, it was her brother, Dan Xian, who would be competing this time. According to Yizhong, both he and Bai Ying from the Bai family were intermediate 7th-tier alchemists. The Qiu family, on the other hand, was represented by a low-level 7th-tier alchemist. As the two were conversing, the Cao family's group finally arrived, fashionably late. Xiao Yan followed the crowd's cheers and saw a seductive woman in a black dress leading the way. Her every move exuded allure and charm, causing many in the hall to become momentarily entranced by her presence. This woman was none other than Cao Ying, known as the Enchantress of the Cao family. Not only was she a direct disciple of a Pill Tower elder, but she was also a candidate to become one of its future leaders. If she continued on this path, she might become the youngest female leader in Pill Tower's history. After the Cao family took their seats, an energetic, white-haired elder stepped forward. According to Yizhong, this man was Shang Yao, the chief examiner for the assessment. From the moment he appeared, Xiao Yan felt an intense pressure emanating from deep within his soul, indicating that this elder was far more formidable than he appeared. The white-haired elder smiled slightly, then turned his gaze to the entire hall and said, "Will the assessors from the 5 great families please enter the arena?" As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Yan and his companions, under the scrutiny of the entire audience, slowly walked into the venue. However, to his surprise, the Cao family's representative was not Cao Ying but her brother, Cao Xiu. Though his skills were not on par with his sisters, he was still significantly stronger than Cao Dan and was also an intermediate 7th-tier alchemist. Thus, the representatives for the assessment from the other 4 great families were Dan Xian from the Dan family, Bai Ying from the Bai family, and Cao Xiu from the Cao family. These 3 were all intermediate 7th-tier alchemists, while Qiu Ji from the Qiu family was a low-level 7th-tier alchemist. Elder Shang's gaze slowly swept over the 5 participants, pausing briefly on Xiao Yan. He had heard of this young man's reputation and admired him. Elder Shang had some old ties with the Yi family, but their relationship had waned over the years due to the Yi family's decline. Nonetheless, he had spoken in their favor a few times, which had helped the Yi family maintain a sliver of hope. Elder Shang then pointed to a crystal stele behind him and said, "If there are no objections, let us begin the assessment. There are 3 parts to our evaluation, and the first is soul testing. In this test, you will channel your soul power into the stele before you, which will display a value known as the soul strength value. A passing score is anything above 400. The highest score in recent years was achieved by Cao Ying, who reached 976 during her test, a record that remains unbroken." Elder Shang continued, "Since you all know the rules, let's begin. Who will go first?" As soon as Elder Shang finished speaking, the 5 participants fell silent. After a moment, Qiao Ji from the Qiao family stepped forward. As he channeled his soul power into the steel, the blood-red numbers in the center quickly rose, finally stopping at 707 under the watchful eyes of the crowd. Once the number was fixed, Qiao Ji breathed a sigh of relief, as this score was not low. In fact, it surpassed the level that most ordinary intermediate 7th-tier alchemists could achieve. Xiao Yan observed the number with thoughtful consideration. He could sense that Qiao Ji possessed considerable soul power, yet his final score was only 707. This gave Xiao Yan a glimpse of Cao Ying's formidable abilities. After all, she had surpassed this number by a wide margin 3 years ago, leaving Xiao Yan to wonder just how much stronger she had become since then. Next, Bai Ying and Cao Xiao each took their turns, scoring 785 and 846 respectively, eliciting gasps of amazement from the audience. Then, Dan Xian from the Dan family stepped forward. As his vast soul power surged into the steel, the numbers rapidly climbed past 800, finally stopping at an astonishing 903. This scene caused a moment of stunned silence in the hall before an uproar of amazement erupted. Dan Xian, indeed, lived up to his reputation as the future leader of the Dan family, proving himself to be far above the ordinary. Even Elder Shang, the chief examiner, cast a few appreciative glances at him. After a prolonged period of exclamations, the hall gradually quieted down, and all eyes turned to the final participant. Yi Zhong and his companions were extremely tense as they watched Xiao Yan. If he failed to rank in the top 3 in this first test, there would be no point in continuing with the subsequent assessments. Cao Ying, sitting in the Cao family section, fixed her enchanting eyes on Xiao Yan with interest. She was curious to see if this somewhat famous figure truly had the ability to save the Yi family, or if he was just putting on a brave front. Under the scrutiny of the entire hall, Xiao Yan took a deep breath and slowly approached the steel, gently placing his palm upon it. The entire audience's attention was focused on Xiao Yan as he walked towards the steel. His performance would determine the future of the Yi family. Even Elder Shang wore a solemn expression, reminding Xiao Yan that for the Yi family to pass this assessment, he needed to rank in the top 3, which meant achieving a soul value higher than Bai Ying's 785. Without this, no matter how much Elder Shang advocated for them, the Yi family would be expelled from the 5 great families. Xiao Yan nodded slowly, fully aware that the fate of all Yi family members rested in his hands. Closing his eyes slightly, he pressed his palm against the steel. Instantly, an overwhelming soul pressure erupted from within him, distorting the surrounding space as a spiritual storm formed. Elder Shang's expression changed dramatically at this phenomenon, for he had seen something similar only once before. When Cao Ying took the test, she had also caused such an anomaly, but it seemed that Xiao Yan's was even more intense. The group around the stone monument, including Dan Xian, took a dozen steps back in surprise at the sudden turn of events. None of them had anticipated that Xiao Yan could achieve such a remarkable feat on the Cao family's seats. Cao Ying also showed a look of astonishment. She had not expected Xiao Yan to conceal his abilities so deeply. It seemed she had truly misjudged him this time. Meanwhile, the invisible soul storm gradually dissipated after lasting for several dozen seconds. The final number on the stone monument was an astounding 1395. The entire hall was filled with the sound of people drawing in sharp breaths. This number was over 300 points higher than the previous record set by Cao Ying. Back then, she had been hailed as an enchantress for her achievement. Now, Xiao Yan not only broke her record but also left it far behind. Such an achievement was truly shocking. Cao Ying was stunned when she saw the blood-red number. She murmured, "Interesting. Central Plains really is full of hidden talents. I didn't realize there was someone of this caliber. It seems this year's pill competition will be very exciting." At this moment, Elder Shang by the stone monument looked at Xiao Yan with growing admiration. Others might not understand the significance of the 1395 score, but he knew it meant Xiao Yan's soul strength had reached the high 7th tier level. This meant that after Cao Ying, the Pill Tower had discovered yet another prodigious talent. Of course, Elder Shang did not immediately equate Xiao Yan with Cao Ying, given that her record was set 3 years ago. She had undoubtedly reached a more terrifying level by now. Normally, this would be true, But what he didn't know was that Xiao Yan had subtly suppressed the soul storm earlier, as he believed that hiding his true abilities was his strong suit. Elder Sheng exclaimed, "Excellent, excellent." The soul test concludes here. The top spot belongs to Xiao Yan, representing the Yi family. Next, we move on to the soul control test. With that, he retrieved a black iron ball called the soul measuring orb from his storage ring. According to Elder Sheng, this orb might feel light when held by hand, but for the soul, it was as heavy as 1,000 pounds. Next, many soul measuring orbs would be scattered from the ceiling, and participants were not allowed to use Do Qi. They could only use their soul power to catch them. The one who caught the most orbs would be the best in this test. The previous record set by Cao Ying was 89 orbs, which had yet to be broken. Upon hearing this, all eyes in the hall instantly focused on Xiao Yan. Everyone was eager to see if this young man named Xiao Yan would break all the records previously set by Cao Ying. Elder Sheng asked, "Is everyone ready?" Upon hearing this, the group slowly nodded. As the soul measuring orbs began to rain down like a torrential storm, Xiao Yan and the others reflexively darted away to their positions. As Xiao Yan caught the first orb, he felt the invisible hand formed by his soul power suddenly sink. It seemed that the second round of the test was not as simple as he had imagined. Meanwhile, Bai Ying and Qiao Ji were awkwardly dodging the falling orbs, clearly struggling because their soul power was too dispersed. In contrast, Cao Xiao and Dan Xian fared much better. Though they were initially a bit flustered, they quickly adapted to the situation. After gaining experience from the first orb, Xiao Yan became increasingly adept at handling the orbs. While Xiao Yan continued to catch orbs with ease, Qiao Ji and Bai Ying gradually withdrew from the test as their souls became overburdened. Before they left, they each had 31 and 43 orbs floating before them, respectively. Shortly after they withdrew, Cao Xiao also had to quit with a total of 56 orbs. At this point, only Xiao Yan and Dan Xian remained. However, as more orbs fell, Dan Xian's face turned increasingly red. After a few more minutes, he let out a long sigh and, seeing the 66 orbs before him, decided to withdraw from the test. As Dan Xian conceded, Xiao Yan immediately stopped his movements. With a flick of his finger, the numerous orbs around him fell to the ground. He then cupped his hands in a polite gesture towards Dan Xian and the others, saying, 93 orbs, just lucky. Upon hearing this, Dan Xian and the others could only respond with bitter smiles, for it was clear from Xiao Yan's composed demeanor that he had not exerted his full strength. Even so, this achievement had once again broken the record set by Cao Ying. It now seemed that these so-called geniuses from various prominent families were no match for Xiao Yan. As the soul measuring orbs around Xiao Yan fell to the ground, the hall erupted in loud applause. Xiao Yan's performance made it clear to everyone that the Yi family was saved this time. Meanwhile, a faint spark of enthusiasm appeared in Cao Ying's eyes. Over the years, the only contemporary alchemist she had ever considered a true rival was the young girl from the Dan family, Dan Chan. Now, it seemed she had to add another name to that list, the young man named Xiao Yan. Elder Sheng looked at Xiao Yan with a beaming smile, unable to conceal his satisfaction. After all, a score of 93 orbs was 4 more than Cao Ying's previous record, and this was achieved without Xiao Yan even exerting his full strength. Elder Sheng announced, "Excellent, excellent." Xiao Yan remains in first place for the second test, Dan Xian is in second, and Cao Xiao is in third. Hearing Elder Sheng's announcement, the smiles on the faces of Yi Zhong and Xian Lan in the Yi family seats grew even broader. Xiao Yan's performance had exceeded all their expectations from start to finish. This round of the 5 major family assessments had taught everyone the meaning of "there is always someone better." Following this, Elder Sheng explained that soul power is fundamental for alchemists, but the assessment needed to test not only the strength of their souls, but also their ability to use soul power offensively, as it is also a crucial combat technique for alchemists. He then pointed to a large red circle in the center of the hall, about 10 zhang in diameter, and said, "The final test is simple. You 5 will enter this circle and use your soul power to duel. The last one remaining in the circle will be the winner." Hearing this, all 5 participants nodded in agreement. However, just as they were about to enter the circle, a soft, laughing voice suddenly rang out in the hall. Cao Ying said, "The Cao family wishes to substitute a participant midway, if that is allowed."